Hey everybody, this is Trey Taylor. We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. As you can see, this beautiful lady next to me is the legendary broadcaster Carolyn Sawyer. Listen, you have been all over everywhere. TV, radio, internet. You've been sending smoke signals, girl, telling folks.
Somebody told me I was channeling Stacey Abrams in Atlanta. I'm okay with that. I'm a
Yeah,
big Stacey fan, okay?
well,
And what
listen.
she did in Atlanta, turning that state blue, was pretty doggone spectacular.
Oh, it really was.
Um,
It really was.
but no, I told Jeffrey Lampkin the other day, I said, you know what? The guy told me to move. And you know what? When he tells you to move, you move.
So Carolyn, you have been really, advocating for and enlightening and empowering people and educating people about the need to vote in 2021. What happened that made you think, okay, y'all, as you said, it's time to have a family meeting?
Another sister girl called me. I'm driving, back down to Charleston, and Deborah Breedlove called me. And,
Mm,
I've known Deborah for decades and
yeah.
have the greatest, utmost respect for Deborah.
Okay.
And she said, we've got to do something, and she does a lot of her work with the Democratic Party. And she was out canvassing. She was literally hitting the streets. And I appreciate that because we all have different ways and different tools that we can utilize. And that's really the key. You kind of look at your tool. And so mine, like once upon a time, I used to do a little TV, and I still have really great friends and colleagues in the industry. And I just thank God that I could literally text people, and within minutes I was sharing a whole media schedule. I started off with Antoine Seawright and Don Frierson on Thursday, and had great conversation with Cynthia Hardy and Jim, and they had a fabulous show yesterday. I was in the airport flying from Washington and sitting up, before they board, watching the show. It was just really great, and everyone should take a look at it. Really good information.
Yeah.
And then talked with Jeffrey on Sunday morning as I was traveling. And then on this morning, we talked with Curtis Wilson this morning, and Jamal. And this evening, P.A. Bennett had a great conversation. But you and I have been talking about,
Yeah.
there's been great excitement about all the contributions that people are making, but also just some concern.
Yeah.
And we got to have more family meetings. Jim, it was James Felder actually yesterday who said during Cynthia's broadcast that, we shouldn't just be talking about voting before the election. It's like we're all rushing, like
Right.
Thanksgiving, get the food ready for dinner,
It's an
right?
ongoing
Um,
conversation.
it should be. And we could probably frame it in the context of having quarterly meetings with the family to talk about voting, to really try to energize. It was exciting to see a lot of folks who were thinking about running or ran for the first time this year. That was great. I think there should be variety, but I also think that voters have to be well educated. You kind of shook me when you told me the story about some individuals who don't know there is a runoff tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was talking to actually well, Tamika, and she said, someone said, "Hey, I voted for you," and it came out in the conversation that they didn't know they needed to vote again. They didn't realize that there was actually a runoff, and they got to go back to the polls. So here's the other thing. I remember when Nada Rutherford, she won the coroner, and during one of the high profile um, press conferences, I'm reading the comments, and somebody says, a brother, which, love brothers, but a brother said, "Oh, I didn't know the coroner was coming like that. I wonder who's knocking her boots." He says this on a post. And so you know what that says? He didn't know. He obviously didn't vote for her because he didn't even know who she was and didn't know she was running for coroner. I mean, it was just so there's so much. uh, I don't even want to say apathy, but is it apathy about surrounding elections? We just don't know what's going on, but we definitely want to talk trash in the barbershop and in the hair salon, but we don't know
Well,
what's going on.
I sometimes say we don't connect the dots, which we should. There is direct dot connecting to be done in terms of who sits on city council,
Yeah.
who actually sits in the governor's office, in that governor's chair, who sits in the congressional chairs. It matters.
It does.
And, we sometimes, I don't know how it got into our heads that are, do you remember? And we're going to probably, I know I'm showing my age. Years ago, there was someone in our community who said, I don't want to buy the black vote. I just want to rent it.
Oh
You remember that?
Lord.
Do you remember that?
I remember that comment. I don't remember who said it.
Oh, I do. But nevertheless, I was insulted.
Oh.
And I think those kinds of remarks or that kind of thinking is just enough. You can couple it with the remark last week, whoever that bozo was in West Columbia talking about there shouldn't be another colored person in the mayor's office in Columbia. Who are these people?
Here's the
I
thing,
I
though,
don't.
Kiana. I gotta tell you that the comfort the person had in saying it, so comfortable to say it in public, not caring that there's going to be some backlash. And because I can't say that he didn't think there was going to be, but didn't care enough about whatever the backlash was to feel comfortable enough in saying it in public. It's not like me and you on the phone and we talking ish. This person said it just all out in the open in front of Jesus and everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing I'm saying. The blatant, it's okay to say whatever the hell I want to say, miss.
And if folks don't sense that people are getting that comfortable again,
That's right.
then I don't know what to tell you, but that would make me get up out of my bed. I'd be at that poll at 7:05 tomorrow.
But
Okay.
here's the thing, though, Carolyn, does everybody know it's been said? Here's the thing: if you're not
Yeah.
watching the news, you don't know what's going on. It's
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So,
Yeah.
which goes back to the problem. I just want to shout out Michelle James says hello, ladies. Chandra Cleveland says so sweet.
Hey,
Thank you, ladies.
ladies.
Yeah, thank you so
Hey.
much for joining, and please post and share this information out because in a minute, and Carol and I said we were going to only talk 30 minutes, so maybe we will, maybe we won't, but we
Look,
really,
only Trey would be keeping me from my bed, but that's okay. Look, I'm winding down, and this is
right.
the wrap,
And
right?
I don't have
I
any.
done done my
I'm
part.
watering down. I'm watering. She
Okay,
winding
water
down.
down. I'm winding down.
But because, and I say that because after this, we need to have a woman conversation because the thing about it is, if there is a thing, if there is this woman thing, just the woman thing that we really got to get over in order to do what we have to do. Let's talk about that next. But yeah, see, listen, to know that old boy said what he said from West Columbia, you got to be watching the news.
You do, or reading somebody's newspaper,
Mhm.
or
You got to
or
be
you know
engaged in the
what,
news every
or
day.
even in 2022, we're coming up on a new year. Here's your chance to find you an informed circle, an informed circle of friends, because if it's hard to get everything, and I read a lot of stuff, but I thank God that I still have folks who are out there that will send me stuff just to make sure that I've seen it
Yeah,
and make sure it's
yeah,
on my radar. But what was disappointing is his colleagues thought that there shouldn't be a rush to judgment and it need to be investigated. And but child, please,
what
okay,
is it to
again,
investigate? He said it.
again,
He said it. He
things
said he
like
said
that.
it.
Things like that don't make me mad. They make me energized. So I would be at the polls at 7:05. I'm calling tomorrow the day of redemption.
Right.
Okay. And I'm calling it that because I know some of y'all, you watching now. You ain't telling nobody you're watching. They ain't said hi yet, Trey, but I know they're watching and they eavesdropping, right? Some of you all have made the mistake of not going out to vote the first time because you
Right.
got caught up in some of the what I call petty mess. It ain't even black girl magic, it's black girl mess,
Right. Right.
okay?
Right. Right.
And you worried about how folk look and what they got on and who they like and who they mad with and who they fell out with. I don't care. That's not what this is about. We're talking
Right.
about our community well-being. That's really what we're focused on. And so some of y'all missed going out on the second because you got caught up in the silliness. And that's okay. You don't even have to tell anyone you missed it. Tomorrow can be your day of redemption because if you're registered even if you did not vote on the 2nd, you can still go
That's
out
right. That's right.
tomorrow. It's the
That's right.
last day though,
That's
y'all.
right.
And
Right.
I'm telling you, don't wait till 6:54 or 55 and tell folks you got stuck in traffic. It's the last day. But nobody knows that you made a mistake. You didn't vote on the 2nd, and you should have because you're registered. And so you have a chance now to go out and redeem yourself and vote tomorrow.
Yeah,
Be
I'm glad
first
you
in
said that.
line.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because I'm glad because I want to reiterate that even if you didn't vote on November 2nd, if you are a registered voter, you can vote tomorrow. Now, listen, there has been some instances of voter suppression at the polls. Even last week, a couple of weeks ago, November 2nd, several people were turned away. Now, a big issue, Carolyn, was people, do you live in the city? Now, and even if your address is Columbia, you may not live in the city of Columbia. You may live in Richland County. Here's the thing: if you have a blue recycle bin, you live in the city of Columbia. If something happens and the city of Columbia police come out and not Sheriff Lott's folks, you live in the city of Columbia. If you know those are those things, don't let somebody say, "Oh, you live in the county," because there are a lot of lines that cross. You know, you may think you're in the county, but you're actually in the city, and vice versa. So make sure you vote tomorrow, as you said, Carolyn, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. at your local poll. If you live in the city of Columbia, do you have a blue recycle bin? You live in the city of Columbia. If if the city of Columbia come out to your house, if there's a disturbance, whatever the case may be, you live in the city of Columbia. So that is a big thing about voting tomorrow.
And Trey, let's go back a little bit further because maybe everybody doesn't know how we got here. I mean, you and I know, but maybe everybody don't know how we got here. So when they had the election on the 2nd, because of the four people running, nobody got 51% of the
Right,
vote.
right, right.
Okay. And because of that, the law requires that you then must have a runoff in 2 weeks. And that's why tomorrow, that's how the date gets decided.
Hmm.
And so that runoff is between the top two contenders. So
Yeah,
let me clarify that too, because if you voted for number 3 or number 4, number 3 was Mr. Sam Johnson. We thank him for his participation. That was
absolutely,
2 weeks ago. Okay.
absolutely. And it's
And I,
okay because anybody can run.
yeah,
Listen,
we want people to participate. So but he came in third. He endorsed Tamika for her run for mayor, and we should pay attention to his endorsement. All his voters should.
at
And
Steve Benjamin, the,
yep,
the
mayor endorsed.
mayor,
We should pay attention to the endorsements. Congressman Clyburn, we should pay attention to the endorsements. Now,
legendary
I
Senator
tell
Kay Patterson.
pay attention to the endorsements and read the literature. You got all night. Read the literature. You got a few hours before 7 a.m. But that split in the vote, for which is what a lot of us old school folks call it, because if you have four folks and everybody's got a piece of it, nobody got 51%. So that's why we're down to
Right.
uh, two candidates. And I tell you to do your research so you can get up and be there first in line.
Yeah. Um, Maxine says split vote. Mike Love says, "Hey Carolyn, I'm watching."
Hey, Mike.
He says, "I'm watching with my future ex-wife. I'm watching you with my future ex-wife." I think he's talking about me. He said, he said, "You preach it right now. We need another Stacey Abrams moment in Columbia at the polls." I mean, and Carolyn has been doing that work, Mike. He says, "Please get out and vote tomorrow." Of course, Mike Love, who was a former program director and morning show man at the Big CM for years. He's in Dallas now doing big things. So, Mike, thank you
We
so much for
love
this.
Mike. We love Mike.
Absolutely.
Great to see you and glad to hear you're well too.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, yeah, look, here's the deal. And I've always I've been off the air for 25 years and people say, "I didn't know you were still in Columbia." I'm still here. But I also stay in tune, or I stay abreast of what's happening in the world because I work all over the world. That being said, we need to pay attention because of what's happening in Texas, where Mike is. They're
Yes.
already suppressing a vote. Georgia next door. you know, it's now illegal to hand somebody a
Yes,
bottle of water
yes,
who's waiting in line to go
yes.
and vote. So take your own water, y'all. Don't, in case there's a little bit of line tomorrow, take your own water. Just
BYOW.
practice. Just practice. I mean,
BYOW.
you know, this is almost, you remember our ancestors had to go in there and count how many marbles or jelly
Right,
beans were in the
right,
jar in
right.
order for them to vote. So if we know that our people went through this, why would we even just shut this down? We don't even want to play this game. We're
Yeah,
going to shut this down. Go to the polls, vote, because they don't want you to vote. Let me tell you something. While Trey and I are up here shooting the breeze, right? There are people sitting around a conference room making plans for how they're actually going to run the city of Columbia because they believe they're going to win. And I hope you get up tomorrow and prove them differently.
yeah. You said something that I want to mention. Um, you said, if you got caught up last week about whatever the case may be, read up and go vote. Here's what I will say to you, Carolyn. If you don't want to read, if you don't like to read, if you don't even know what to read, Tamika has been on social media a lot today, and she will be on social media a lot tomorrow. She was on James Patrick's page. Please go check that out. She was on Andre Barnes' page. Please go check that out. Akintunde interviewed her. Please watch that. Tina Torres interviewed her. Please check that out. Tomorrow, Chris Levy Johnson will interview her at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Please watch that. Raquel Richardson Thomas will interview her tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Roy Brasley will interview her. So there are several social media influencers and several people that have large followings that will interview her between today and tomorrow. Watch those interviews. Just sit back and watch those interviews, and you
I'll
will
go.
hear, what her position is on several things.
Trey, I'll go a step further. You know, Judy and I go way back from my
Yeah,
days at WIS.
yeah.
Go look up the last debate.
Look at the debate. Yes,
Judy killed it, and I thought Tamika was at the top of her game.
yeah.
Listen to the answers. The question I liked the most was the priority question.
Right,
Okay,
right, right.
and which projects were a priority? And you got to ask yourself, okay, if you live in the city or you have investments in the city or you work in the city, do those priorities line up and match up with what's happening in your neighborhood and in your
Right,
community?
right, right,
And
right.
that's important. That's an important question to answer. But look, I got to remind you guys, I actually think that this is, everything happens for a reason, right? And I actually think this is our litmus test. We're getting ready for what's about to happen on a much bigger stage. And at least we'll be ready, and we'll be ready to take on, because I see it coming in many directions. You saw the articles I sent you today, right?
Yes, 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 yes.
These were the articles alluding to Madam Vice President. And I think those
Yes.
of you all who are still awoke at this hour watching us, y'all need to stay woke.
You need to
Okay.
stay woke. Yeah.
I mean, I when I first saw the peace tray, I thought, was that my old performance evaluation from one of those corporate jobs? That's nothing new. We've all heard those kinds of descriptors and descriptions. And again, if we won't defend each other, man,
And that's
man.
the thing. And that's the thing. And you said a little bit about that. Hey, Chandra. Chandra says, yes, this is our test. You're correct, Carolyn. You're right. It is a test. Chandra. Let's not fail it. Let's not fail it. And listen, here's the other thing. You don't even have to be politically inept. You know what I mean? You just have to recognize that this is important to you and your family and your children. What is going to happen in the next couple of years? And you have to make decisions based on what is in you and your family's best interest. Here's the thing I wanted to say. Listen, it is not personal about, you don't have to like how somebody dresses. You don't have to like the shade of lipstick she wears. I mean, sisters, sisters, sisters. Really? I mean, are we cannot possibly be that petty. Because here's the thing: I'm not talking about kids. I'm not talking about teenagers. I'm not even talking about 20-year-olds. We're adults. We're adults. Are we not conscientious enough, as you say, Carolyn, woke enough? I mean, that's the cool word to say, but are we not woke enough to recognize that this is important? This is so far beyond all of the foolishness. We've got somebody that's going to join us, Carolyn. Look, Rick is here.
Hey.
Yo, what's up?
Rick Wade
Look
is
who's here.
here. Thank you so much, Rick, for joining us, former advisor to President Obama. And you also are working with the International COVID Task Force, right, Rick?
Yeah, the National Task Force. But wait a minute, Trey. Wait a minute. You got Trey and Carolyn Sawyer here. Thank y'all for letting me hang out with y'all tonight. This is the party to be in.
Look, we got on our pajamas and
We're winding down here, Rick. We're winding down.
I'm watering down, Rick. I am watering.
I got an empty bottle, so at least
I'm over 21, so what the heck, right? Hey, listen, I saw you out on the campaign trail. You're a seasoned politician. You've seen these races. Give me your read. What are you sensing on this eve of?
Listen, I mean, it's all about Tamika Isaac Devine becoming our next mayor, and for so many reasons. One, she's qualified.
Yeah.
Ready on day one. I've known Tamika for 20, 30 years. I stopped counting after 5. But listen, I mean, you're talking about a true servant leader, and I've seen that throughout this campaign. You're not going to find a better person who really is about the people of Columbia.
Yeah.
And I know it's historic that she'll be the first woman mayor, but it's also, about moving Columbia in the right direction. She talks a lot about creating a more inclusive Columbia. And you know what? That theme is not just about Columbia, it's about America. Carolyn, you know this. You and I talk about this all the time. It's about
absolutely.
It's not just equity. About growth on Bull Street, but it's also about North Main Street and these other communities that have been left behind. And it's about public safety, and she's going to lead on that. She's got a plan for that. So, I'm all in, and I'm grateful that this guy named President Barack Obama has kind of, he's out there saying, go vote, Columbia, and vote Tamika Isaac Devine. And let me remind you, I remember back in 07 and 08, when I started with Barack, Tamika Isaac Devine was one of our first endorsers and supporters. So I'm very happy that President Barack Obama has come on board to encourage people to vote.
Yeah, there's that great picture of Tamika and her husband and Barack and me talking in the back trying to get a deal done with Rick Wade.
There you go. That's what it's all about. Family coming together to get it done. And that's
absolutely. Well, I've been calling family meetings since Thursday. And, I feel like we just need to call it what it is and tell folks, okay, if you made a mistake and you didn't get out on the 2nd, you got a chance to redeem yourself tomorrow. If you didn't know there was a runoff tomorrow, it's tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And let's stop all this foolishness. I mean, all this personal stuff. Right. Who cares? This is about a bigger policy. And actually, Rick, I even think this is the beginning. I was just saying this is a litmus test for a couple of more battles that we have to fight on voter suppression. Yeah. When you can't give somebody a bottle of water in Georgia, I mean, what's next?
Right. Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is consequential. We always talk about presidential elections being consequential, but it's about the local races, because that's where people connect with politics and business and government. This is what's consequential about getting Tamika elected, so she can be a mayor for all people here in Columbia. And, Carolyn, you make a good point. I mean, I was looking at the numbers of particularly Black Americans and Black Colombians who came out doing the first round. We got to do better than that.
Yeah, 14%.
14%. I mean, and and both of you know me. I'm certainly a brother of faith, but we got to cast our pearls the right way. And casting our pearls is about casting a vote. People died for this right, and it's just unconscionable that we don't show up in 2021, right? And exercise the right to vote, even with the oppression and the voter suppression. We always overcome, and we do what we got to do. And we need to show up to the damn polls tomorrow to vote. That's the problem.
Rick Wade is mad at y'all right now. I know it. I get you. Yeah.
I am. I really am. It makes no sense that we got to do this every year.
You
Yeah.
know,
gotta
Rick,
drag people to the poll.
Vague people.
I have
Yeah.
been thinking the last couple days, Rick, about John Lewis, and you and I both knew
Yes.
John. And John got his head bashed in,
Right.
y'all, so we could vote. Why
That's right.
are we even having to do this?
Yeah.
This should
Exactly right.
be, this should just be something we do as second nature. But I was sharing, Rick, that last night Jim Felder was saying we really ought to be talking about voting not just when the election comes, but all of the
Oh, yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I even have this wild, crazy idea. I don't know why there's not, we got every government agency in Washington, D.C. Why isn't there a voter agency that deals with voter registration and voter equity and making sure people aren't suppressed? I mean, it doesn't have to be a big agency. We don't need a lot of bureaucracy, but it's very clear that there are things going on that somebody needs to be watching and keeping their eye on. That's just one of my crazy ideas, but I'm telling you, this thing is getting serious. Anytime I start seeing we're going backwards,
That's right.
we need to wake up, people. Wake
You're right,
up.
and you know what? History can repeat itself. I mean,
Right.
I was on a radio show this morning, and Carolyn Trey is younger than us, and and I know that. I know we got her by a few years, but I was telling them, but I grew up in Lancaster. I moved to Columbia in 1980, and still a resident of Columbia. But South Carolina was late to embrace integration,
Right.
and I didn't go to integrated school until middle school.
Wow.
I remember very vividly color only signs and going upstairs in the movie theater
Wow.
because we couldn't sit downstairs, honestly. And my point in saying that is that we have to be careful, to your point, that we don't go backwards. And going backwards means if we don't vote, we can go backwards. And
Oh,
this is
yeah.
happening across the country. And before you know it, we're in a really bad place in America. So voting is one of the weapons, one of the tools that we have to continue to use to fight for freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that means going to vote tomorrow,
Yeah.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Take time, give up that Kentucky Fried Chicken 2-piece dinner or lunch and go vote tomorrow here in Columbia.
Yeah, and you know what? The other thing is that we really have to talk about, like we said, one, if you didn't vote last week on the 2nd, you can vote tomorrow. The other thing that's so important is even if your candidate is not in the runoff, if you voted for someone on the 2nd and your candidate didn't make it, you still have a responsibility to vote.
That's
You've got to vote even more now than you did before, because not voting is a vote for something that you don't want to happen.
That's exactly right. And you know what? And that's I've been around electoral politics my entire life, and it's like sportsmanship. Once we're in that, once we're in runoff, it's just like we're now in the Super Bowl. We got to work together and come together.
Yes.
And that's what victory is about. You
Yes.
win laps, but when we're now in that runoff and we're trying to get across the finish line, we come together.
Yes.
One of the things that I've admired about President Obama and President Bush is how, what was division is now unity.
Mhm.
And I get so impressed when I see, Michelle Obama and Mrs. Bush come together and what they do for the good of America.
Yeah.
Put aside whatever differences existed in a competitive primary. We are in this together right now for the bigger goal.
That's
And
right.
that is to win and for Tamika to be mayor. And the common goal is for a better Columbia. That's the thing we got to look at this.
And that's the point, Rick and Carolyn. If you truly want to be a leader, if you truly are a leader and you truly want the best for the city, what does it matter about what happened 2 weeks ago?
That's
Today, tomorrow is the most important days. If you really want the city to turn around, if you really want the city to move in the right direction, if you really are a leader, then lead and do what is right for the city.
Right.
Sadly, Trey, and we have historically had in our community instances where we spend more time pulling each other down than spending the time we need to do the work to pull ourselves up. And I said to somebody today, this is 2020. Nobody has a foot on your neck. You can go to the poll tomorrow. You can get in your car, crank it up, drive right over there and cast your vote. No one is keeping you from doing that. If anything, I think in our heads mentally, we're letting so much noise get in
Yeah.
our heads and listening to people that we can't do what we need to do. You
Hmm.
know, Rick, you were talking about Tamika early on, and one of the things I've kept in my thought process throughout all of this is she's done everything that the system tells us we're
That's
supposed to do, right? She
Right.
went to
That's right.
school, she kept her nose clean, she
that's
went to law
exactly
school, she got elected, she's done the service. I think she's got 19 years, to the other
19
candidates
years.
12 years.
19
Okay,
years.
so she's done all that. You just started a business, contributed to the community, pays her taxes. What must what more must we do in
Right.
America?
Right.
What must
Right.
more must we
Right.
do?
walk
Right.
on water. I mean,
Yeah.
she's done that too because I've seen her do it. If that's what people want to know, yes, she
Well,
can walk on water. So
to those who question the categories of experience and competency, I think it's there. And
yes,
for our brothers and sisters in particular who cannot find it in your heart to support another woman who
that's right.
has stood up,
Yeah.
you know, all this other stuff is surfacing, who
Yeah.
has stood up and said, I'm ready to serve. Come on, y'all. We
Yeah,
got
no, I
some work to
agree.
do.
Kelly, you're right. Listen, I remember in the early days, and y'all remember this when folks were saying that America would never elect Barack Obama
Right.
president,
Right. Yes.
and all across the country we heard that. And, our response to that was yes, we can. We
Hmm.
got to believe that we can elect Tamika Isaac Devine as the first woman mayor, whatever that means to people. But yes, we will if you go vote. And
Hmm.
this can happen. It's just, I mean, so some of this is about how we perceive ourselves and what we believe that we can do as voters, and particularly black voters, because
Yeah. Yeah.
again, 14% is unconscionable that's all
It's
that came out.
unbelievable.
It's
That
just
that should be
unbelievable.
28 tomorrow. That thing should go up to 28 tomorrow.
It ought to be
Unbelievable.
100%.
Well, look,
Well, it
small
should be.
increments. It should be.
Well, I know
But I
you're
have
right.
to tell you, Rick's known me for a long time too, and he knows I'm a little bit of a fighter.
I
Okay,
know.
I pull out the boxing glove, but it's interesting to watch, and people should always watch what's happening on that other side. And it's
Hmm.
interesting to watch some of the 11th hour tactical moves on the other side. You know,
Yes.
calling on the carpet, an attempt to motivate people in public housing to go vote. Are you kidding me? Come
Right.
on.
Right.
Why
Right.
would that be? I mean,
Right.
you really have to watch what other folks are doing
That's
sometimes to
right.
see why are they doing that? Why
That's
would
right.
they not want public housing residents to go and vote?
That's right. That's
They live
exactly
in the
right.
city.
Yeah.
So again, pay close attention, read as much as you can. You can read in line tomorrow, read on your phone while you're waiting to get your vote cast, but you need to be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
14% is pretty sad.
That's
Rick,
right.
I want to ask you something as a black man, and you kind of touched on this a little bit as far as the problem, the challenge, the issues we're having with voting for each other. As a black man, what do you say to other black men and to other men in general about voting for a woman? Because we have seen that too, that people have said
Yeah.
we just don't want her to be mayor because she is a woman. Black woman aside,
Yeah.
she's a woman.
Well, sadly enough, Trey, it's not just here in Columbia, but across the
Yeah.
country. There's still gender bias,
Yeah.
and we have to overcome that. I mean, different strokes for different folks, but it's still double strokes for black women and triple.
That's right.
It
Yeah.
just is, and that's unfortunate. But here's a woman who's qualified. There's no question. You cannot question
Good question.
Tamika Isaac Devine's qualification. You can't do it. So then, what other reason is that we don't believe in ourselves, and or we
Right.
don't want a woman to be mayor? I mean, I can't answer that. But what I know that this woman is qualified is why I've invested with great friends, and I've been a part of this thing from day one because she's ready to be mayor
Yeah.
of the city of Columbia, tried, tested, and proven, and has exceeded the expectations that anybody can have in terms of whether she's qualified or not. So it's just one of those things like race that we have to chip away every day, and we're still unfortunately having to crack and break glass ceilings for women in America, and even women to become mayor and to lead cities and states, and maybe one day even our country. That's the
Yeah.
reality that we live in.
Yeah. Andre Barnes says they're punks. They're too jealous and insecure punks. Hey, Andre, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, Andre.
Tamika
It is
actually
what
went,
it is, but
yeah,
you
went
know.
live on his page. Want to say hi to Barb Go Army. She says her story alienates some folks. Deneen Ambersley says she's qualified. Hashtag she's qualified. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this live today. Broadcast journalist, legendary broadcast journalist, Carolyn Sawyer joins us, and the amazing Rick Wade, who works with the National. He is amazing.
Now wait. I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing at I've been
You're
legendary all
legendary.
day. And wait. I was called a grand dame yesterday, Rick. I don't know. Now how do you get amazing?
But can I please have that? I mean, I don't get that often, Carolyn. Amazing.
That's a gender thing. I'm legendary, and this was amazing. But I love him. I love him.
I love both of you.
He probably gets sick and tired of me saying it. But some people talk the talk and they don't walk the walk. And for those who don't know, Rick's up now. He's had that big job in Washington with the U.S. Chamber. But what I remember about Rick Wade is probably 20 years ago when I was just trying to be an entrepreneur. When I went to this brother and I said, I need to do some business with the company that you're with, and it was one of the larger South Carolina companies at the time, he didn't just blow me off. He took my card. And by the time I flew to Washington, he was flying in and I was flying out. And I got off that plane. Someone was calling me because Rick had enough gumption and enough pride for our people and what we try to do in the world of entrepreneurship to pass that card along to one of his colleagues. And that I've shared the story, Rick, so many times because that literally changed the cursory of my business and changed my life. Wow. And I've been so, have always loved him, but certainly was most appreciative of that, just giving us the chance and the opportunity. And that's really what we're talking about here, Trey. We're trying to open that door for a capable, qualified politician who can go in and do what she needs to do for this city.
And if you ask, well, how do we know she will? Look at what she's done the last 19 years. It's not a question of will she do it. It's the question is, and the statement is, she's been doing it. She's been doing the work. She has been fair and equitable as an at-large city councilwoman. She has launched different programs. If you call her, she's there. So it's not a question of if she will. The question is, let's give her a chance to do even more.
That's right. And that's what Congressman Jim Clyburn has said, who's obviously a big supporter to me, because like the best judgment of the person is not what they will do, but what they've done.
Yeah.
Her work speaks for her.
Yeah.
But if we don't give people the chance,
that's right,
it doesn't happen.
That's right.
You can sit up all day and talk about the man, whoever the man is. But the reality is that often we are our own worst enemies. And if we don't give each other the chance, have enough faith in each other, then it won't happen.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. Deborah Breedlove was backstage. She didn't come in, but she said, Tamika is ready to serve and she deserves our support. She says there's a difference in these candidates and it's not just gender. She says it's so sad that many won't go to the polls with the only voice that we have. Deborah, thank you so much for your comment.
Great point, Deborah. That's so true.
Yeah.
Our vote is our voice. And I say, don't call me if you didn't vote. When you got a problem in your community, and I don't care what it's potholes or crime, I'm going to ask you, did you vote?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so there are consequences to this, guys, that we really got to be, we got to take this very seriously. Go vote tomorrow. Yeah. Please go vote.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got to do that. And, you make such a great point, Rick. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it in the barbershop or in the beauty salon. We'll talk plenty of trash. And you look around and you ask people, well, what have you done about it? Are you just trying to talk about it, just, complain about it? Or are you doing something about it? We've got to get more engaged in the process. And Carolyn, as you said, we cannot wait till, the week of an election. I agree. There needs to be a concerted effort to continually educate, inform, empower people to vote, how to vote, the importance of voting, because there's just so much, people are just like, whatever, people don't care. People just don't care. It's not cool. It's not hip.
We better get out to these polls.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you. I was joking over the weekend, Rick. I had to go up to Boston. I said, I'm checking to see if the Underground Railroad's still open. Because if y'all don't do what you're supposed to be doing, I'm gonna have to hit Harriet's path and head on north. I mean, you guys, this is
I know.
serious. This is serious business, and we have got to be about the business of voting and staying on top of issues in our community. It's critical. It's
Yeah.
It
critical.
is. So take
Yeah.
your soul to the poll.
Take your soul to
to
the poll.
and
Yeah.
vote.
Yeah.
Vote,
Absolutely.
vote. That's
Christina, yeah, Christina Q says, all of you are amazing. Oh, thank you, Christina. She says, thank you for your support of Team Divine. Let's go out and vote. Regina Williams is here. She's backstage, but she is not, I don't see her. Her camera must not be on. Regina, if you'll turn on your camera, we'll bring you up. I see where you joined the
She's
live,
trying
but
to do radio.
I don't see you. I don't see you. We don't see you. So please, there she is. There she is. Hey,
Look,
Regina.
I tried to put an avatar on because I am worn out.
We're not doing avatars.
Oh, I see.
You've been working, my sister.
I
You
didn't
have
get
been
the powder
working.
my nose.
You look beautiful.
I didn't get the powder my nose. Y'all,
You have been working. You tell us
y'all.
about the campaign
Yes,
experience.
yes,
What's that
yes,
like?
yes.
What does it feel? Because you on the ground.
It's something else. People who I thought, people who have been helped are
Mm,
turning their backs. People who I was just looking at something somebody sent me in a group message. Don't vote for the person because she's a female. Vote for the right person. And we know what that means, the right quote unquote person. Um, I mentioned that the catalytic converters on the buses for the black churches have been cut. So we had to go out and get more, had to go out and get a bus.
wow.
And this person comes in and says, well, thieves don't care who they steal from. And the church that you're talking about, how do you know who I'm talking about? And if it was important, why didn't you call someone in this camp and let us know? And these are well-known people. That's how it's been. It's been an eye-opener.
Hmm.
Well,
People
listen.
I will never trust.
Well, listen. I mean, I've been around many campaigns, and I don't mean to quote paraphrase a little scripture, but no weapons formed against us. We can't let those things. We can't.
Yeah.
We can't. I mean, we're bigger than that, and we got to rise above, Regina, even those kinds of tactics.
Yeah.
One of the things I know about Tamika, when she first got in this race, she had this mantra that I'm going to attack the problems, not my opponents.
Right.
That's
Right.
a spirit that we need to carry to tomorrow. And I
That's
hear
right.
what you were saying, but let's not focus on the whole. Let's focus on the donut, right? I mean,
Okay, now let me share this. I was asked how was my campaign experience.
yeah, I know, but
And
you
because
articulated it very well. And
because of that experience and because
yes,
of the type of person that Tamika is, I
yes,
rise above.
that's right. There you go.
It's been like a spiritual journey being
Yes,
on her campaign.
that's right. And it is. It is a
It,
spiritual
it,
journey.
yes.
But we
So,
conquer those demons. We
oh,
don't rise above them.
we call them as they are and we
Yeah.
conquer them.
That's right.
I want to say hi to Mitchell Peace Joy Jens. It says we must continue to press forward. I want everybody to continue to post and share this information out because we need to get this message to more people on social media about the election tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you live in Columbia, South Carolina, like I said again, if you have a blue recycle bin, you live in the city of Columbia. If the city of Columbia police come to your house for whatever reason, they come to your house and not Sheriff Lawton them, you live in the city of Columbia. So if you live in the city of Columbia, please go to the vote, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Please post and share this message out. Mitchell Peace Joy Jen says God is in control, and he is. I want to say something about what Regina mentioned. Listen, and I said this to Tamika today. I have grown to appreciate when people show their colors. because now you know who is and who ain't.
Yep.
Now you know what the deal is, instead of people walking around you and you think they're in your corner and they're not. You just have to say, okay, Lord, thank you. This hurts. I'm shocked, but good looking out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You rather know than not know.
That's right.
Yeah, I posted that. Lord, thank you for helping me to see things seen and protecting me from things seen and unseen.
Unseen. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, and Regina,
Oh,
you have to also know. I mean, part of the reason it's getting a little prickly out here is because it's close. This is close, and that's why it's so critical that people get out.
Yeah.
If there was not a concern or a fear that that she could win, then you wouldn't hear a word. Folks wouldn't be saying a word. So that should be, I love the phrase "count it all joy." Count it all joy, and keep on going. Make sure you get out and vote.
Mhm.
And just I'm big on the show me stage. Show me the results on tomorrow.
Yeah.
Show me the results. And I know it's hard work, and I know you're exhausted. I know people have been working overtime and have not hoped to go into a runoff. But again, everything happens for a reason.
It does,
Everything.
girl. You better say it. That's right. And people can vote tomorrow. Even if you didn't vote on November 2nd, if you are a registered voter, you can vote tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in your regular polling place. You're
And
working
Trey, what was it? I love that. I forget. What's the color of your trash bin? What is that?
Yes, if your recycle bin is blue, then you live in the city of Columbia.
Okay.
The last time, a lot of people were confused. People were coming big, and they lived in the county. Their address said Columbia, South Carolina, but they technically lived in the county. So a lot of people last time on November 2nd were getting turned away because they were told you don't live in the city.
Right.
So how you know if you live in the city, if you don't know, is if you have a blue recycle bin.
Got it.
But wait
a minute, if you got relatives who got blue recycle bin, call them and tell them to go vote, even if you don't have one.
That's right. That's right.
That's why, Rick, I've been telling them for the last 5 days at these family meetings. That means you call your cousin. You call if you don't know, call your grandma. She knows.
That's exactly right. Call Ray, everybody.
To you.
Who
got explain it to you clearly.
Ray, baby. I even found some folk who are homeless, but they're older. I told them I'll be down here to get you all early in the morning. But now let me say, if the not just the recycling bin, because a lot of people have the roll carts.
Mm-hmm.
So if their roll cart recycling bins are blue also.
Okay.
Because remember we used to have little buckets, and now a lot of people have the roll cart that looks like the garbage can.
Okay.
So if
or
that
you can just call downtown, that's what city services are for. You call that main information number, share your zip code, your address, and confirm that your address is in fact indeed in the city. I mean, again, we can figure this out, y'all. We got to figure this out. That's
exactly right.
Our lives depend on this.
Right.
And again, I'm telling you, this is just the first shot. This voter suppression, these games, this is gonna come at us again and again. Okay.
That's right. And remember, listen, guys, back in the day, let's not forget, folks had to count the number of bubbles in a bottle. I mean, a bottle.
Yeah, Carolyn was saying that.
We can't figure out a blue trash can and a red and green. Really, go vote. Just show up.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Whether you got a trash can or not, just go vote. Just go vote.
And with this being said, after Tamika becomes mayor, we're going to need somebody to lead the effort to take us back down into the basements of the churches. Remember, we used to go in the basements of the churches. We'd fight it out. Who was going to run? Who was going to do this? And when we came out, we were united.
Right. Exactly. Right. Exactly. I love this. I was just looking at this tray. I don't know if you had a chance to.
I got it. Yeah.
So while we busy up here urging our folks to run, this text said, "Hey y'all, if you guys know anyone in the city of Columbia, please have them vote Tuesday. But Daniel Rickman, please, the SCDP, meaning the Democratic Party, and the NAACP are bussing people in to vote. It is getting ugly. Bussing people in. When did that get ugly? He needs every single vote, y'all. Call your auntie tonight. Call your cousin.
Right. This is a real text.
This is a
Now
Wow.
that text came from Julie Latham,
Yeah.
who's with the Friends for Richland, and they were the ones who were adamantly against Jamie.
It doesn't matter. You know,
It's the same group.
at the end of the day, she shares with us the sentiment that a lot of people have. And
Oh,
again, I don't
yeah.
know how y'all roll, but you know, Trey, Rick, y'all know how I roll. When I see something like that, I'm going to get 10 people. Okay. And you need to go get 10 people and 10
That's
more
right.
people. I
That's
mean,
right.
you know, what is ugly about the NAACP has been promoting voter registration and the right to vote longer than I've been on this earth. And when did that become ugly?
Right. Right.
That's right.
That's right.
Even the tone of it, like you said, Carolyn, it's getting ugly. They're busing people in. Like we bringing people in from Africa. We busing people in.
We bringing in extra people.
Right.
These are registered voters, and if they need a ride to the polls, you can get a ride to the polls, and there are rides available. In fact, I saved something so I have the number to post. But you get a ride to the poll, and it's not illegal. You know, I was so incensed at the whole little scuttlebutt that they tried to start at the housing authority. I mean, people need, if you need a ride to the poll tomorrow, it's called 803-269-6293. Again, that's 803-269-6293. Let's see how ugly we can make that. Get people in them cars and get them to the polls.
There you go. That's exactly right.
Done deal.
Get
Done
there
deal.
how we can. Just get there.
That's right.
Hell, I'll drive people. Call me. I'll drive. I mean, I make
What's
people.
803-269-6293. 803-269-6293 if you need a ride to the poll.
We're gonna make it ugly tomorrow. Lots of rides. Lots of rides.
What's the
Ride,
song? I don't care.
You get a ride. You get a ride.
I don't care. I don't care how you get there. Just get there.
Get there. I hear you.
That's right, Regina. That's right. Regina, oh, go ahead. Were you going to say something, Ray?
No.
Okay. Regina, so you've been working the phones, right?
Yes.
What are you hearing people? Because right before we came on live, I got a call from Tamika's camp. You know, hi, you're going to vote. You know, we hope that, you know, you'll vote for Tamika. What are you hearing people say?
I'm hearing people say that they're going to go out. Some did not know that there was an election. Yeah. Some did not know that there were places they could vote, 2 places they could vote down at Hampton, you know, when we were early voting. Right. Some people were very nice and they thanked us. They thanked us for calling. And so it's a mixture. A lot of people are politic weary, because this will actually be my third time, because we had the school board, then we had the general, you know, the election. So they're weary and they're tired.
Yeah.
And we can't be tired.
We can't be tired.
Look, we got cars. Yeah. So we know people and are related to people who walk to the polls. So, honey, last I checked, we got 2 or 3 cars in the driveway, and nobody has their foot on our neck yet. We need to get to the polls. Enough with this, people. Enough.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know, one of the things, Regina, that people are tired and they're apathetic. But this is what's different about Tamika. And I'm telling you, I've worked with candidates across the country. This is one leader who stays in touch with people. And there's something about elected officials and being accountable and not just showing up when election comes. But Tamika has been there every day of those 19 years, talking with people, being accountable. And that's what we need in Columbia. Leaders who are not just going to get elected and don't come back until election time, but are showing up every day back in the community. I watched her during the campaign, and I'm like, would you go home? I'm not going home. You know, that she's out there. And I would tell you, we'll have a whole different sense of accountability.
I agree.
I agree.
Leadership of Mayor Tamika Isaac Devine. She's committed.
I agree. I agree.
Leadership at its best.
Look, she's done 2 libraries in my neighborhood. 2.
Yeah.
Okay. It's so many things I can share with people. How she gets popped on the hand for even coming into a neighborhood that's not as they said, not her neighborhood,
Right.
but she still does it
She does
because,
anyway.
you know, it's a lot that can be shared. And
Yeah.
I share it as much as I can.
Yeah. If you are a small business owner, you need to vote for Tamika Isaac Devine because she has been a champion for small business owners. She is a small business owner. If
Right.
you are a member of the LGBTQ community, she has been a champion for that community. She has been fair and equitable. So please vote for her if you are a member of that community. I mean, so many. If you are a veteran, she has been a champion for that community. Domestic violence survivors. She launched the first domestic violence walk and support in our community right here in Columbia, South Carolina. She has implemented so many programs for our city as a city councilwoman. Think about how much more she could do as our mayor. Rashonda Pratt is here, y'all.
Hey,
I wanted to be a part of the party.
and the media maven here. We bow, we bow. If you saw any interview today with Tamika in it, that's because of this lady. I sent her a note saying, "You're killing it, girl. You're killing this social media. Congratulations. Y'all had quite the day. You got folks scared. They at the point now, they calling the NAACP busing ugly. Okay. Folks are nervous. Folks need to get out and just close this deal. Okay.
Woo!
I wanted to add real quick, Trey. You talked about the domestic violence walk.
Yeah.
Even more critical, the domestic violence court. And a lot of
Yes,
people don't realize
yes.
you get beat upside the head in the middle of the night. You want to be able to get in front of a judge and get you a protection order instead of waiting until Monday morning. And so that kind of thing has impacted thousands and thousands of women and men. And if it has, you need to know that. And then I'm an alumnus of Fast Track. And I know there are other Fast Track folks who are watching because I know y'all on Facebook. You eavesdrop all day long. That's all you do. So if you went to Fast Track, the Fast Track program would not have existed had she not advocated to have that in our community. And that has made many of us much better entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Yeah.
How about she's already met with the Department of Mental Health, the new director, Dr. Rogers, met with the new knows the new probate judge. They're working together already. My point is she has to get in because she has done the work. She's done the back work. And if anybody else gets in, it will take them 2 years to catch up to what she has already put into place or what she's already studied.
Yeah.
It's going to set us back.
Yeah, and listen, let's not also miss the point. You know, there's a whole conversation about safe communities. Tamika has a whole plan about supporting our law enforcement and police officers and recruiting and providing them the technology they need, putting them back in the communities and providing housing. And that's real. She's been leading in that place. And one other thing, in her role as in the National League of Cities, she really has been involved in leading infrastructure, which President Biden just signed today.
Right.
She got a whole plan and make sure that infrastructure in Columbia is about creating jobs and getting money to small businesses and broadband. She's been leading that long before President Biden signed and Congress passed the infrastructure bill.
Rick, if I could speak to
She's
that,
been in the play.
There's something really powerful you said about her already having a plan and being having these national connections and working to make sure and ensure that our communities really are safe. I've been with Tamika on this journey since February 5th. No surprise. I've been working on the communication side of this campaign. And one of my favorite stories by far is an opportunity of seeing Tamika really be a woman of her word and really care about community. We were organizing an event to go in a community and do much of what Tamika already does, respond to people and go and talk to this particular community. And there was an incident that happened in this community, and I wanted to pull out of the event. I was like, listen, I don't know how this is going to look. Should we still go do this event? They just had something happen in this community. And Tamika called me that night, and this is what she said to me. She said, Rashonda, why wouldn't we show up? If this community is already dealing with a situation where there isn't any hope, we should go in and provide hope. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. I've worked in television media for 20 years. I am also a part of the faith community. And at that moment, I wanted to repent, Rick, because I said, here's my candidate telling me, the faith lady, that we could go and be a beacon of light and hope to a community. Right. And I sat there and I said, this is why I'm walking this walk with this woman, is because she doesn't just talk the talk, but she walks it. And she really cares about every single community in this city. When you listen to the people and they say, Tamika answers the phone when I call. I've seen that time and time again. Right. When you get an opportunity to work with someone, Rick, Carolyn, you all know this with campaigns, you get to see who they really are, right? And I'm telling you, Tamika really is the real deal. And she stays up late. She gets up early. Her motto is, you're not going to outwork her. And that's true. So it's not only just her work ethic, her compassion, her personal journey with her family, and how much her grandfather and her father have created and molded her into the woman she is today. But she also has those national ties, and also she's been doing the work. She's not new to this, as the young people say. She's been true to this. She's been doing the work. And so I count it an honor and a privilege to be a part of what she's doing. And just one final thing I'm going to say here, ladies and gentlemen. We have an opportunity to be a part of history tomorrow. History is going to be made one way or the other. We would hope it would be in our side, right? But history is going to be made one way or the other. People have to understand tomorrow when they go in and vote, they're picking which side of history they're going to be on tomorrow.
Right.
That's how serious this is.
That's right. Ro, you touched on something. I just gotta just add, I've enjoyed coming back and being a circuit at churches. So I don't know how Tamika and I ended up at the same church on this past Sunday. And it was one of those sermons like he's talking to us, right? And one of the points that came out, because you talked about faith, this is a woman of faith, right? She wouldn't even be here in this race, or her life journey has been one of faith. But the pastor made a good point, because we always talk about faith without works is dead. Well, faith without voting is dead too.
That's right.
So that's why we got the faith, but we got to put faith into action. And one of the ways we do that is to go vote, exercise this God-given opportunity we have to exercise our right to vote. So she's a woman of faith, but we got to translate that faith into real action. That means going to the polls tomorrow, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and casting your vote.
Right. That's Rick Wade, Rashonda Pratt, Regina Williams, Carolyn Sawyer. I'm Trey Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us. Please post and share this information out, because this is an important election here in the city of Columbia. I want to mention that Mike Love says to you, Rick, he says, you're so right. He says, hey, Rick, when you go back to the history books and think about how much African-American blood has been shed into the soil of South Carolina from slavery, means your right to vote is an obligation that can't be ignored. A vote for Tamika Isaac Devine says that you are serious about being a citizen of Columbia, South Carolina, and it says you mean business, period. Mike, thank you so much for joining us. Regina, former announcer and program director at the Big DME, now lives in Dallas. Regina, what were you going to say?
I just want people to remember, even if they have moved and they are not sure where they vote, take your driver's license down to 2020 Hampton Street and vote there.
Yeah.
Some people may be a little gun shy. Well, I've moved. It doesn't matter. Go to 2020 Hampton Street and vote.
Yeah. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. You can vote. Yeah, Tyler McSwain has joined us. He says that if you're a mayor, you need national connections. Thank you, Tyler Swain Mitchell, for joining us.
We miss you, Tyler.
Yeah. All right, guys. Anything else you want to say to your cousins?
No, thank y'all for letting me hang out with y'all beautiful women. I've enjoyed
listen,
We're coming to hang out with you. Dinner in Washington on Rick.
Well, next thing I'm in Columbia. I'm here for our victory. Okay. I'm here for the victory. We're going to make it happen.
So the after party at your house, I've been to great parties at your house, Rick West.
I'm in. Let's do it.
But you can't come to the party or the cookout unless you vote.
You can't
That's
do
exactly right.
Can't do it. You are canceled from Thanksgiving if you don't vote.
Yes.
Vote.
Thank you all so much for your support, your kindness. Thank you guys
This
so
has
much
been
for having
beautiful.
a conversation and exchange.
Beautiful.
Guys,
Beautiful.
make sure you go and vote. Keep us covered and keep us in your prayers, because
Yes.
you can imagine it's going to be a long night for Team Divine. Many of us will not be sleeping, and we're excited about the victory we'll have tomorrow.
You're gonna
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah.
You're gonna be fine. Keep up the
Let's
good
do it.
work, you guys. We're
We're
praying
gonna be
for you.
good.
Yeah.
Yes. Team
Let's do it.
Divine.
Vote, vote, vote. Let's
Yes,
do it.
vote, vote, vote. Christina
right.
says he's single, guys. Christina, I'll have a conversation with you about that.
And Trey, one final word.
Yes.
Please change the battery in your smoke detector.
I
If you're
can't
wondering what the beep is,
I
people,
can't-
it is your smoke detector saying, I need a new battery so I
I
can be safe. And you know I love you, right? I want you to be safe.
Are you talking to
Please
me?
change the battery. Yes, I hear you in the back.
I don't even hear it. I
I
don't even
think
hear it.
it's mine. I think it's mine.
No,
never
it's been
did
going
it.
on before you got here. Trey,
Well,
check the battery.
whoever's beeping, at least we know you got a smoke detector.
But
So.
check it, okay?
But if it's beeping, that means I can burn up it.
This is
We love you.
really
Check
needed.
the battery.
I can't even hear it.
I love you, my brothers and sisters.
Thank y'all
Take
so
care.
much.
Thank
Thank
y'all.
y'all.
Thank
you. Good
Dr.
night.
Pratt,
Go
Regina
vote,
Williams,
go
Rick
vote.
Wade, Carolyn Sawyer. I'm Trey Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us. Please continue to post and share this conversation out, because I know you know someone that needs to hear it. Like Carolyn said, don't go by yourself. Take a couple of people. If you need a ride, you can get a ride. Please vote and please pass the word on. It is important. It is important to our city, to our community. And I'll say it, it's important to our race. It's important to our race, the human race, to do what we know is right. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Thank you, everybody.
Night, everybody. Take
Bye-bye.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.